time.
We're ready when you are, Chairman.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to the County Council meeting. We appreciate you coming here. Today is April the 22nd, 2025. We're located in the council chambers. That's at the county building on the third floor. It is 7 p.m. Again, we welcome you and those that may, if Wardle's on there. Anyway, Pledge Allegiance. Kendall, will you lead us in the Pledge Allegiance? Will you all please rise?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Thomas. As far as roll call, we have our county attorney, Scott Broadhead, present. Thank you. Councilman Thomas, Councilman Hamner, Councilman Hoffman. Excused is Councilman Wardle and Councilman Stromberg. We have our county manager, Andy Welch, assistant county manager, Brittany Lopez, and Tracy Shaw, our county clerk. And we welcome each one of you. Thank you for being here. That brings us down to public comment. Is there anybody in the audience, by raise of hand, that would like to make a public comment? Seeing one. Is 4 minutes appropriate for you?
Oh, yeah, that's plenty.
Will you make sure that you state your name, where you're from, and make sure that light is green? Will you touch it? See if-
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Thank you, Council. My name is Scott.
Turn that around so they can hear you, because they're
Better?
recording.
Okay. Name is Scott Dahlberg, Tooele, Utah. Tonight I have maybe some issues of clarification and comments rather than other issues. But after looking at the minutes the last 2 weeks ago, I guess, a couple of things come to my mind, and one of them was a resolution 2025-05, and I think it was a grant money for Utah State. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Wimmer presented that. My concern is, I just read today where Utah State is canceling a bunch of their programs. And I'm wondering if Tooele County USU is affected by any of those programs that are being canceled.
We'll review that. I don't
There's
know.
like 14 different programs. In particularly, several of them relate to the health department as well. So that's one of the concerns I was wondering about. And if it is, does the county council have a backup plan in case, and I'm guessing the grant money come from the state of Utah, I don't know, in case that grant money is withdrawn? That's a concern I have. Okay. The second one I had, I watched some of the discussion on the amendment to the general plan. I think it was with regards of 5 acres out in Pine Canyon being rezoned to 1 acre. Listen to the one gentleman's comment. And this may be after the fact. It might already be a done deal. But one of the concerns I've got, if we have a general plan and somebody comes in and wants to change it, what's the sense of having it? I don't quite grasp how that can happen once the general plan is in effect. The second comment or question I have regarding that is this change from 5 acre to 1 acre rezone. It appears it's new development. Does that also apply to those who are also on 5 acre lots living there? Can they now rezone and subdivide to 1 acre? Those are the comments I have tonight, other than to congratulate all of these individuals who are here for service awards. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. No. And then that will bring us down to recognition and presentation. I'm sorry?
I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm looking at that.
We'll turn some time over to Councilman Hoffman.
Should I go up here?
Yep, take that packet with you. There you go.
stand right here. All right, tonight we get to recognize some of our employees. We want to thank them for their years of service and all that they do for us. We have several 5 years of service. I'm going to do the recorder's office first. And I don't know if the recorder.
The 5 years are just an acknowledgement.
Oh, they're
And
just
then
acknowledging.
these are ones we
Okay.
hand out.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, so acknowledging those for 5 years of service. From the recorder's office, we have Rylisha Ulan, and if I destroy the names, I apologize. How's the right way to say that? Okay, then, and if you want to come up here, or if the sheriff now wants to come up here, he's more than welcome to come up here as we recognize those from his department. We have Braille Crossman from Dispatch, Laura Swank, Sheriff, and James Peasnall, Corrections. Anything you guys want to say about those employees? I'll let you do it.
So, Radisha Hewlin works for the County Recorder's Surveyor's Office, and she goes by Riley. She's been with us for 5 years, and I want to tell you, what she is the best at is is our subdivision coordinator. Any subdivision that gets approved in the county, whether it's in the municipalities or through the county, goes through Riley. Riley deals with the developers, Riley deals with engineers, the surveyors, and we are one of the few counties that actually do a review prior to those subdivisions being reviewed. Riley coordinates that whole thing, gets it out. Scott, I know, signs our plats after Riley's pretty much given them the go-ahead as the team reviews them. She doesn't do the reviews, but Riley makes sure that gets done. And you know, these developers, they are always thankful that Riley's doing it. They tell us we've got the best system in the state, and I'm constantly receiving kudos for Riley's work. And these people pay for these reviews. It's above and beyond what they pay to the Community Development Office, and it's above and beyond what they pay to the municipalities. But Riley's got it so organized, and we are so fast on our turnaround times and everything that they appreciate actually paying money, which, where do you see that from? So I really appreciate what she does, and she's our subdivision coordinator. She works hard, and I appreciate everything she's been doing for us.
Thank you.
And I apologize about that. I was having a senior moment. I was reading the recorders, but thinking clerks in my mind. So that's why I was pointing at Tracy, so I apologize.
I will be very brief in my comments, but Laura Swank, James Peasnall, and Braley Crossman all work for a little different division of the Sheriff's Office, and they're all rock stars within their respective divisions, and we appreciate them and look forward to celebrating their 10 years in 5 more years.
Thank you.
Then for 10 years of service, we have people from the health department or divisions of that. And so let's invite any of them up here, as well as Grant Sunada, our new director of the health department. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, it's an honor.
Do you want to mention the names, or I'm happy to read over them, and then you can hand this out? We have that for the one that's present, I believe. So we have Josette Silva from WIC. Then we have Sarah Obrey from Aging, and Marcia Murray from Community Health.
Yeah.
To be recognized. And we have at least one of them here.
That's right. We have Marcia Murray here, so I'd like to welcome her to come up and provide this recognition. I do have just a few words to share, Marcia. You want to see my staff light up, you let them know that Marcia's being recognized. And so they were beaming and also shared just a few, there are 4 themes, if I might share. One is customer service. So she's great at problem solving around insurance issues. Marcia works in our community nursing division and really working with some complex issues and really being kind, sometimes straightforward, right? But when it does get to be challenging, you're willing to work with the people, with our clients, and do it with kindness and a smile. Another thing is being a team player, really stepping up when there's need across the, people being out or anything, being willing to fill in, follow up, follow through with anything that's needed. Also, when things get challenging and if someone is maybe a little unhappy, you're able to be strong and steady as well. And lastly, it reminds me of why we do this, both to serve people as well as to take care of our loved ones at home. And I really appreciate how you balance both work and family. So yeah, with that said, here's this.
Any family members would like to come up with a picture as well, they're more than invited.
Awesome. Here's this. Yeah, should we have them come up?
I just want one of you two.
Okay,
And
perfect.
Ty. Can you
There we go.
squeeze in?
Oh.
We'll do two.
Okay.
Okay, and then family members as well.
We'll have blankets. There we go.
You get out of your way, Mr. Day, go back.
Results for this pass them on. And did I give you the right one? There should be two there. Yes.
AGS.
Okay. All right, we've got two more to recognize, and if they're here, please come on up. When we call you, Scott Bissiger from Rhodes, as well as Amy Rice from Aging.
No.
Shoot, Parks and Recs.
I'm like, no.
I looked at the wrong line for.
Corey's here to present that.
Okay.
I'm grateful for this opportunity. Amy has 10 years full-time, but probably has close to 25 years seasonal and full-time. I'm comfortable in saying that Amy has forgotten more about Tooele County Parks and Recreation than I'll probably ever know. And so she does a great job for us. Currently, she's an office coordinator for us, but she has worked in events, she's worked in marketing, she's worked in aquatics, which is really her background in that is there. And I rely on Amy heavily, and as the sheriff said, she is our rock star as well. So I'm very grateful for Amy. Thank you.
Invite her family up.
Yes, after this picture, we'll invite them. All right, family, come on up.
If I have to do this.
Thank you.
Here's the envelope, Amy.
Road.
Oh, Jed's here. You're behind me, Jed, so I'm gonna give you this one for Scott. We have one more to do. Somebody that's worked here over a quarter of a century, probably longer than this person is old. So, that is our infamous treasurer, Mike Jensen. Mike, could you please come on up? Mike, is there anything you would like to say about yourself and your department?
You know, I was counting just earlier today, going through the last 25 years, and I counted 17 different councilmen and commissioners and over 20 other elected officials. So it's been a good ride.
Only one assistant county manager.
One manager, one assistant county.
All right, here you go. Here's your,
Thanks, Ty.
thank
Do
you,
you
Mike.
want to turn it so, and then we'll have Margie and your dad come up. Thank you.
All right, family, come on up. And I don't know if any of the council members, this might be a good one for you guys to get involved with too. Yeah, let's go.
Am I earning my paycheck, Jim? He said that's there's the case.
All right, thanks. All All right, thanks, everybody. Thanks all to all of our employees. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Councilman Hoffman, we appreciate it. Chair recognizes Councilman Thomas.
Yes,
I'm just giving this to Mike.
Mr. Chairman, if it be, I'd like to make a request tonight that we move 11B, amend our agenda tonight to move 11B, the nighttime hunting ordinance, to our next item, so that we have some public here that would like to.
10B.
10B? Okay, 10B,
To the front.
to the front, to our next item agenda if possible.
Hearing a motion from Councilman Thomas, is there a second to amend the agenda?
Second.
Hearing a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those may oppose say nay. The agenda is now amended. Then we'll have ordinance 2025-05, amending Chapter 10, nighttime hunting of Title 6, Public Safety, Tooele County Code, Councilman Thomas and Nate Harris.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Hey, part of it, this got started about a year ago, and tonight I'd like to recognize Josh Gibson and his son. If you just kind of stand up, I'd kind of like to acknowledge you both. They brought this to us over a year ago to try to make some changes and make a nighttime hunting or a night ordinance for allow hunting. So we're going to do that tonight, and it happened because you and there were some other folks that had come to, but they weren't able to be here tonight, but do appreciate you coming so very much.
I like his shirt too.
What does it say? Can you read from that?
Yeah, math literacy affects 7 out of 5 people.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and vote on that. I'll make the proposal. And also I'd like to acknowledge Nate Harris for his work in drafting this too, because it wouldn't have happened without him.
And
So let me give a little bit of background on what actually the ordinance is doing. So currently, night hunting is prohibited under our current ordinance. A year ago when this issue came up, there were some desires to allow night vision or infrared, which under my interpretation of what the state code said wasn't allowed. And so we were moving in a different direction. In this previous legislative session at the state, they passed a bill that would allow significantly more options with night hunting. And so we, in the last few months, got to reverse course and drastically change our night hunting ordinance. So now it will allow for anything at the state level, which is infrared, night vision, a handheld light, and we are now codifying that in our own code to reflect those changes at the state level. So it's going to give quite a lot more latitude. The list of animals that can be hunted at night is defined in the state code, and it is greater than what we were initially thinking. And there still are some restrictions. You cannot be in your vehicle, you can't use your vehicle lights, but it does allow for certain other things that weren't even on our radar for consideration before.
One of the other big changes is in our previous ordinance, you used to have to contact the sheriff's department and get a permit. That is no longer required, and I asked Sheriff Wimmer about that, and he agreed that would be acceptable. Let's see, what was the other one I was thinking? I guess that's that and the artificial light.
falls in line with the state. And there's no, I don't think there's any threat of it being overridden with special legislative session.
No, and the other one, there's, in our previous ordinance, it used to be at dusk and dawn. This takes that timeline out.
Thank you.
So, any other questions? Okay.
No, I think
But
it's
anyhow,
good.
special thanks to Nate for moving this along, and our wonderful state legislature for beating us through the punch, and to the Gibsons for doing that.
Yes.
So,
Thanks.
okay, thank you.
We only have 3 up here, so I need to wait until you get seated. Chair and entertain a motion on 2025-05.
So moved.
Hearing a motion from Councilman Thomas, is there a second?
There is.
Hearing a second from Councilman Hoffman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those may oppose say nay.
And I just want to thank Kendall for getting this helping to get this across the finish line as well. We've kind of been distracted for the last couple of months with some personal issues, so thank you, Kendall, for
Thank you.
helping with that, so.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, second public hearing. So Chair to entertain a motion to open up public hearing.
So moved.
Hearing a motion from Councilman Hoffman, is there a second?
Second.
Here's a second from Councilman Thomas. All those in favor of opening up public hearing on the CDBG, say aye.
Aye.
All those may oppose. Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone by raise of hand in the audience that would like to speak to the Community Development Block Grant? Seeing none, Chair to entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So move.
Hearing a motion from Councilman Thomas, is there a second?
Second.
Hearing a second from Councilman Hoffman. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is now closed on the community development.
Chairman, by statute, we need to read this. Apparently Christy must be held up in traffic, so I will read it so we can get through this.
Thank you.
And this is required by state. Tooele County will hold a public hearing to discuss the project determined to be applied for in the CDBG Small Cities Program in program year 2025. Tooele County will pass through funds to the Wasatch Front Regional Council for the planning and administration of the Community Development Block Grant Program for Morgan, Tooele, and Weber counties, excluding Ogden City. Comments will be solicited on project scope, implementation, and its effects on residents. The hearing will begin at 7 p.m. on April 22nd, 2025, and will be held at 47 South Main Street, Tooele. Further information can be obtained by contacting Christy Dahlberg, and it lists her phone number for anybody that would like to contact her. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Council, I don't have any.
I don't have any.
Thank you.
Sal. Appreciate it. That will bring us down to 5C, URS follow-up report to the council. HR and Andy?
Matt will be presenting with me today. Just a quick recap. A couple of years ago, we switched software, both the financial side and human resources, which was an arduous and exciting, and I would never recommend you do it twice. It's a lot of work to do that, and so we've had a lot of work done by the treasurer's office, by the auditor's office, and by human resources. And so we're coming back at this time because part of an audit finding that we had was that we needed to do better in reconciling our statements, that we had, reconciling the internal fund that we use to manage the human resources and then reconciling some of the financial information. Alison and Mike will speak after me about the process they went through, but we'd like to just give you an update of where we're at, both on the URS that we've been working on and on the reconciliation. And Matt, we'll kind of jump back and forth on some of these things. But there were some original issues that we needed to address. There were a lot of concerns as we were transitioning. We had concerns about turnover in HR. We've turned over 3 people in the last year, basically, in our human resources office, and now we have extra people. We only have one that's been there for longer than a year. Matt, I think you hit your year point just a few weeks ago. There were concerns about the URS regarding differences in our software and what URS had. There were concerns about whether the deductions were set up correctly when we switched to the new software. There were concerns about whether when somebody requests a change with URS, whether that was being made in our system. There were concerns about the reconciliation of that specific fund, that line item in our 176 fund. There were some access issues with URS, I think that we had some concerns about as well. And then there were concerns about whether there was underfunding of some of the retirement. And so those are some of the things that we wanted to just kind of go through quickly. I'll let Matt take these next couple of slides.
So some of the things that we evaluated, especially with the strategy, was looking at the department staffing. What skill sets did we have? The accountabilities, the roles that we had. System integration and also limitations. So we're dealing in this case with our Tyler system and the URS system. we looked at the staffing model, how to, take care of the needs of the organization, the county, and the employees, and then process changes, and look at how do we, address the gaps that we found in that review. So the organizational changes, we looked at, the issues that we were having, the needs, again, the staffing skill sets, and we really looked at who do we need to put in those positions to create or fill in those gaps. And one of the biggest ones was we needed someone with a full breadth of experience in payroll. We found that person, hired that person, also had accounting background. A lot of it was changing our mindset of how we did it. Additionally, we looked for a full function human resources person to also help with my role. So we did that. And then kind of changing the culture from where we were at to a find and fix. Really pushing excellence, accountability, and when we found something, we not only fixed it, but also what is the process to maintain it. So we set processes in place, and then the culture of questioning. As Andy's mentioned, throughout his tenure here, just because it's been done a certain way doesn't mean that's the correct way or the best way to do it. And so we've tried to make sure that we look at all the different processes, how we're doing it, and what's the best way to do it, and the best way to take care of the county and their employees.
I can hit this one quickly. This is just a concern about the deduction codes being set up correctly. And we didn't have access to URS like we needed to make sure that our system matched theirs, but right after we got permission of the URS system, we were able to match all of the employees to make sure that our system was set up. They had the exact same, whether they're tier 1, tier 2, or they're hybrid or 401k. That was something we were able to validate soon after we went live actually in the software, just to validate that. So that's one of the things that we did early on. One of the others is to make sure that employees can make changes in their URS all the time. And one of them that's kind of interesting is the first year that you work for the county, you can change if you want to be hybrid or 401k as much as you want that first year, which is really weird. But we can't make those changes. URS just puts them in a hybrid, and that's where they stay until that first year. Then an employee has to decide, and then that's what we make sure is put in the system. But one of the things that they can do throughout the year is change, if they want their 401k, the matching or whatever, change, they can change that at any time. And so there's a report I'll let you kind of mention.
Yeah, so they'll send us a PDF report of who's made changes during the past time frame, and then we make those changes in the system. And that has been part of the issue that we've found is making sure that that happened.
You know, we have a good process in place now that you check that each week. They send that each Monday, whatever it is, and we make sure that the system's updated. The next thing is just the timeliness and reconciling the 176 fund. There's just one line item that accounts for 13 accounts, and those have been reconciled. That's one thing we wanted to make sure that was. It's just one of, I think, 42 different line items, but that's one that we wanted to make sure was cleared up, and that has been. And the other one, right before Matt came, we were scrambling because we were short on people, and so we had given too many people access, kind of top-level access into URS, and we knew that we shouldn't do that, but we had to just keep functioning. Then URS came back a month or two later and said, you need to limit that, which is absolutely what we wanted to do, so we make sure the right people have the right access in URS right now. There's I can't remember what the top level it's called, it's kind of a funny name, but they have limitations and requirements that they want to have. Even the sheriff has access, actually, just because he could investigate into URS, so he has some access into URS, whether he knew that or not.
Actually, I do know that.
You do know that, so there you go, you do, absolutely. And so then the big question was whether we had issues with employees' retirement being underfunded, and that's when we the auditor brought Squire, an outside auditing firm, to help us review to see where we were at. And so you want to take these?
Yeah, so this just shows some of the things that, or the week by, or the payrolls that we've done, where it's at. Really what we want to show is how many we've put through, and that we're currently actually up to date. We're waiting on Squire for their tax season. They're quite busy right now, and so they're putting a lot of time in other areas, so we're waiting on them a little bit, but
We've submitted everything that they need to review so far. That's just what this shows.
Can you tell us more what those numbers mean and
Yeah,
stuff,
sure.
what that graph is saying?
So this is a reporting system that they have that spits out of their software as they keep track of information as we're sharing it back and forth. And so we started the Squire audit, I believe it was September-ish of last year. And so this is just since December. So there are outstanding issues. And so if you look at the very bottom, they weren't really using this like I expected. They had very few things that they were reporting on. And then we said, please use it. And then so that we can keep up, make sure we're communicating with you the way that we need to. And so right around in January, we said, just dump everything in. We know your tax season is coming. Just dump in everything that you want us to start doing, and we'll just start to respond. So as we do that, they'll take them off. So it will move from outstanding to fulfilled to accepted. I assume that's the way that they do that. And so we still have some that are outstanding, but those are things that they requested some more information. We provided that information. We're just waiting to hear back from them right now. That's where we're at right now.
and they've all, like Andy has said, they've all been submitted, but we are waiting to process, go through that back and forth on some of their questions. If there's additional information that they need, but that's a little bit paused right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth on some of these things.
And that's what that slide just shows.
These are some of the findings.
Yeah, so kind of in that transition stage, we lost someone, hired someone, trained, and then lost them. Part of that was there was 3 individuals that were on deployment. While they were on deployment, we continued to pay their retirement. That wasn't something that this individual knew, and I hadn't begun, and so that was something that we were able to find and correct. So 3 individuals during that time frame of that employee.
And that's the 31,000 is how much we had to put into their URS account to make them whole. These are the number of employees and the dollar amount.
And additionally, in that time frame, from individuals changing from part-time to full-time, we had 2 individuals that had that occur, that during that training period, that those were missed.
And I can mention these other 2. I just put these on actually. So one of the other things that we did when we switched to Tyler, for the first couple of months, we couldn't pay into the URS because our software wasn't talking to their software. And so it took us a couple months to get that sorted out. But what was happening at that point is we could not submit anything. So employees wanting their money in there, we couldn't put it in until we could. Once we could, we went back and said, we owe employees some funds to make them whole because they would have been earning interest on that. And so we went back through and we figured how much we owed those employees, and we submitted that to URS. And then Squire came in and they said, you missed a few people. And so this next one, we owed them there was 28 employees, we owed them about $70 each to get us caught up on those that we'd missed when we were trying to make employees whole. So that's one other thing that they caught, which I'm very grateful for. Then one of the others is another implementation issue is people have URS loans. People take loans from their retirement. How to process that, that was something we were still trying to figure out. So that was another $1,100. And so in these here, I see there were a lot of transition issues that we were going through. New software, new people. And Squire was very helpful in helping identify some of those transition issues that we'd made some mistakes on that we needed to make employees whole. And so we've been making them whole as soon as we can. We reach out to URS, we reach out to the employees to make sure that they know what's going on.
So currently, as an organization, making sure that the right people are in place with the right skill. building that team mentality and that desire for excellence really is that hiring to the new standard, the excellent standard that we're looking at. Process is really looking at what we're doing and making sure we have a process to maintain all of those corrections. But not only that, but have redundancy within the department to make sure that we have double checks happening concurrently. That's been a vital piece, is making sure our processes are good. We're all attending URS, and not just attending the trainings, but also communicating more, whether it's with the various reps that we deal with, the deposit reps, the financial, all of those areas that we deal with in the compliance areas, and then making sure that the things that Squire recommended that we've done, which we've done all of that, the validations, the change in the software, contacting employees regarding changes, the update of the URS system that will happen this fall. And we're hopeful that will open up a lot of things for us on our end as a receiver of information from them, that we'll be able to validate much easier. Their system does have a lot of limitations that doesn't allow us to do a lot of verification.
It's a really old system.
We're hopeful with that. As we've mentioned, all of the payroll files we've responded to. We're waiting on a few questions as they get some bandwidth to work with us moving forward. Anything?
No. And then just on this, just quickly, that some things are pretty complex with URS. One of the things that we approved in the budget was to move dispatch to public safety employees, and that's not something we can just change in our system. We actually have to submit job description to URS for them to approve, and then they have to approve their hours. Then we had to pass a resolution, then they have to accept a resolution before we could actually make that change. There's quite a process. It's not something that we can just do. And so some of those things we had to kind of do manually until we could get those things worked out. One other thing, and Matt's already mentioned the software change, one of the things that will hit employees as well, we mentioned this last year, that the employees had to pick up 0.7% of their retirement. Now that's for Tier 2, non-public safety, and that is changing again slightly this year. It's going from 0.7 to 0.81, and the state did not change the law, so that's something that we cannot pick up still, but that's just for employees to let them know. Before I jump to this, I want to just give kudos to one person. This is our sheriff. There he is. So we need everybody's help on some of these things. One of the things that he kept challenging us on was the state income tax was not figuring correctly. And we talked to some of our consultants. We had them look at it. We had them walk through it. They changed it. And we looked at it again, and it still wasn't figuring correctly. And we spent months and months looking at this. He kept saying, it's not right, it's not right. Then finally, we looked in the right place, and it was a checkbox and adjusting a number here or there that finally made the difference. And now it's, as far as I know, it's calculating correctly. So thank you for being aware of that and bringing that to our attention. It was
that in the Tyler system or?
It was in the Tyler system, and it was probably a setting that we did a year ago or so. It was one little checkbox. Instead of saying annual, it should have been biweekly. That's the only thing, that was that, and then one other change in a number that, it was just a minor thing that we didn't consider, but they were finally able to get to the bottom of it. But thank you for harassing us until we got it right. We appreciate that.
Thank you for fixing it.
So thanks so much. Yeah. And it's going to be changing again, as long as the governor signs that it's changing again. It'll be going down another 0.1. Tenth of a percent, yeah, that's right. And just quickly, this is on the other part, then I'll have Mike and Alison come up and discuss their side of it a little bit as well. So there was some reconciliation for the human resources. It's called the 176 fund. It's the liabilities. It's a kind of a clearinghouse. And let me get out of this. I want to show you this. We have a spreadsheet that we've been sharing between all of us as we've been doing some research. And one of the things I think was interesting, this is just for your just to help you understand. So in 2023, we were on our old software. And if you look at all of those cells in yellow, that means that that line item was changing month to month. It was bouncing around. And it really shouldn't do that a whole lot, but almost all of them were bouncing around. So this was our old software. When we went live on Tyler, you see in the green, now you see we cleaned some things up as we switched. And I know Tyler's been a challenge, but some of the things we did get cleaned up. As you scroll down, there's a lot of these in green that these numbers aren't bouncing anymore. The software conversion helped us to clean up some of these. Now, all of the rest of the yellow ones, that was what Matt's team was tasked with, going through each one of those and identifying in 2024 what was causing those. And then doing the research, getting the background information that's needed, then sending it to Alison's team to make the journal entries to make sure in 2024 we got those things corrected. And so we had a master spreadsheet where we were going down with each one of those, and you can see there's a lengthy discussion of about a lot of these. And there's even some discussion here just in the last couple of days, just finalizing a couple of these. You see one was today, that they were still trying to, there was some back and forth between Alison's office and Matt's to make sure that we had the background information that we needed to make those adjustments, but we're in really good shape. There are just a couple of, I think there's one still that we're waiting on a vendor. One of the things that we recognize is we were sending things to vendors, they were billing us, and then we were trying to fix things after the fact. We didn't have the people before, quite honestly, to be billing ourselves and making sure it was correct first. We're taking those things back over, correcting those before we pay now, so that we're not having to track it behind the scenes. And so I think we're in really good shape and having processes in place and asking the questions to get these things correct moving forward. So I think we're in really good shape. Still need to improve all of, all the processes just to make sure they're as best as they can be and making sure that we're improving our communication, reaching out to each other to make sure there's a lot of communication right now, especially between Matt's team and Alison's team on correcting some of these. So we appreciate them working together to get some of the things corrected. So Matt and Alison, I'll let you guys come. Mike, I'm sorry.
And I do want to just shout out to my staff. They had pitchforks and backhoes digging. The amount of work that they put into trying to track down pennies was pretty phenomenal. So
Thank you.
Awesome job.
Appreciate it.
I'll come back up after you guys just go in.
Council, thank you for allowing us the time to come before you tonight. When I first started back just after I started in 2001, we switched to a financial software from a company called Cassell. At that time, we were still a relatively small county, and Cassell was an up-and-coming software vendor in the state. That software served us well for a little over 20 years. Then when we started back in early 2022, when we started talking about converting to a new software and talking with Tyler, we realized that the Cassell software was not good at any type of reporting. And so that was one of the things that, from my recollection, that helped us enter into this world of Tyler. So through 2022 and early first half of 23, many people spent many hours with spreadsheets working on data conversion. And I've gone through 4 or 5 different conversions in my career, and I've never seen one that the client has to do all their own converting. So a lot of time was spent by especially Alison's office in these spreadsheets and converting this data and getting it ready to go. So finally, in June of 2023, they decided it was time to pull the plug and move over to the Tyler Munis software, the Tyler Enterprise. Once we did that and started getting into it, on the bank reconciliation side of things, we found that many of the things that we were doing in our day-to-day operations through our deposits from our departments into my office, we tried to convert that into the new software, not knowing really what kind of ramifications it was gonna have. And as we did that, we found that things just weren't matching up. It was very difficult to match things from the bank side of things to the book side of things. And many hours were spent going over these numbers, going over these reconciliations, working with the Tyler support staff on trying to gain their help and their wisdom to help us through that point. So we got through almost a year with reconciliations really not being done. And early in June of 2024, the auditor's office, I had come to an impasse, and the auditor's office stepped in and took over the reconciliation process. So.
Sure. So in June of 2024, like Mike mentioned, we took Mike's information he had that he'd been able to gather, and just kind of started compiling as much as we could. Between the two of us, our ultimate goal was to be able to make sure that the software that we had paid for was fully functional. We didn't want to be working outside of the software for reconciliation. If this was going to be another 20-year software, we didn't want to do things outside of it. And so we worked with the departments to update the deposit process, and they were phenomenal as far as changing something that they'd been essentially doing for 20 years. And so they were phenomenal as far as working with us to bob and weave and change so that the depositing would work properly within the Tyler system. We also met with the council and with our external auditors to kind of talk through where we were at and what things would look like going forward. And then we were able to finally get everything from 2023 all taken care of. And to date, we're on top of things. I need to give a huge shout out is not even the right word. Carrie Mosling in my office has shouldered the burden is the right word, of getting this functional and getting this process all taken care of. Like Mike mentioned, there's spreadsheets, there's collaboration, there's so much effort and time that has gone into making sure that this works and that this software will be something that we can use going forward. And I'm proud of the way that we've been able to work with Mike's office and the way that our teams have been able to work together, the way that the departments have been able to work together, and the way that we're going to be able to move forward, going forward from this point. I think we have great processes in place. There will always be room for improvement. We always want to be getting better, doing better, but we've come miles. Miles isn't even the word, from where we were a year ago. So
we've been able to take some of the things that we learned through this last year and a half, and like Alison said, we've asked the departments to do some changes, make some changes in the way they report their daily deposits to us. So we're trying to find ways now that we can work within the system that we have. We know we're still out a bit, but I just want to give a shout out to the departments for honoring our request to change. It has made we've made great strides in that. I think we found a process for the time being that will help us. It's been very useful in the way that the reconciliations are being done now and being caught up. And I think we can use that to stay caught up now, and then we will find ways to enhance where we're at.
Any other comments or questions? I just, did you want to say something?
I will after you.
Thank you on behalf of the Tooele County and all the constituents for working hard to make sure that their money's being used adequately and efficiently for the betterment of Tooele County. I know that's a huge load to take on, and sometimes aggravating. Maybe that's not the right word. I can't say it in public, but it becomes tiresome and it's hard. and you wonder if you can keep going or get it done. But thank you for staying in the trenches and making that happen.
Thank you.
Hey, just one other thing too. That's a great example of, I don't have any turf to protect. It's called teamwork, and I really like to call it leadership. Leadership by two great department leads, elected officials who come together. It's not my turf, it's not your turf, it's our turf. And that's what I admire about Tooele County and our employees. And we got great leadership, and you just told us a good example of that tonight. So thank you so much.
I appreciate Mike and his team. We've been able to work very well over the last year. Well, we've been able to work very well together, so.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
And if I could just finish up quickly here, there's one theme there, it's communication, whether that's between departments, between us as we're doing the reconciliation, the communication is a key piece. And I just want to end on one thing. This will be something that we'll be sending out, but we're trying to improve our communication as well. This is our county intranet. It is horrible. This is what it looks like, and there's not a lot of resources there. The IT team, we've been discussing this probably for the last 4 months, and they really took off the last couple of months, and this is what we're at. This is where we are right now. It's just organized a little bit differently, but it has so much more content than we've ever had before. One of the things that we notice is our greatest asset are our employees as an organization, and we have some of us that get to go to training. But when we started looking at all of the training that we're currently paying for through our other vendors, I started pulling that together. There were 589 courses that we had that the employees didn't know about. And so what we're doing here is we have an employee development section here, and as long as you have a county login, this is not available to general public, there are resources on how to use Excel, there's AI, there's Word, there's Tyler, there's some of the softer skills are there as well. There's so much training there that is now available. Scott Persons will be sending this out to department heads, which includes you, and we'll probably be going live next month, but we want your feedback. So please look at it, give us ideas. It has a lot of resources, a nice calendar now that we can keep track of things. If you want to request something from IT, there's a program here that you can go in and see what you've submitted and what the status is. And so we're trying to pull all these resources together as into one place for employees, so that's a one-stop shop for employee services. And so we're really excited about this. This is IT just took this on and developed it themselves. And so they're having a lot of fun doing this. They said, this is fun. We like doing this. And going from this to this is such a huge deal. And so we're just excited about some of this. This is another piece that we can use to communicate what we do with our employees. So just wanted to give you a quick update. That'll be coming in an email just asking you for comments in the next couple of days.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, exciting. Thank you for that wonderful updates and continued progress as we continue to grow. You know, Tooele County's still small, but too big to not make changes and things like that. So it's kind of you're in that growth period that kind of hurts to grow. That will bring us down to minutes for the March 11th, 2025 County Council meeting and the April 1st council meeting. Is there any additions, corrections to the minutes of those two? If not, then Chair to entertain a motion on both of them.
So moved.
Hearing a motion to approve on both of them from Councilman Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Hearing a second from Councilman Hoffman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those may oppose say nay. Those minutes are approved. Checked registry, as mentioned many times before, that is on our website. If you'd like to view any of the checks that are recorded or sent out from the county, they are there. With that, Chair to entertain a motion on the check registry.
So moved.
Hearing a motion from Councilman Hoffman for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Hearing a second from Councilman Thomas. All those in favor of approving the check registry, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those may oppose, say nay. That will bring us down to the consent agenda contracts, roads, the west parking paving. Jed. Jed Bell is our Director of the Roads, so.
Yes, I am. Thank you. Thanks for having me. So this project, I want to highlight something about it that I think is pretty special. And we started working on this project in September of 2024. And what we do for budgeting purposes is I get with the engineering firm, we put the project together, we come up with a project estimated cost, and that's what I bring forward to you guys for approval in the budgeting process. That estimated cost for this project was $795,000, so that's what we budgeted for the project. Fast forward to January, we start narrowing in the design of the engineering and get it prepared to put out to bid. During that process, I worked with the engineers and we looked at the structural section, and it was original to have like 6 inches of road base, 6 inches of asphalt. We looked at how it would, we could work on with that, and we changed the structural section to 8 inches of road base and 4 inches of asphalt, which kind of changes the way that they install it, but gives us an equal end result. And that changed the engineer's estimate down to $393,981 and some change. So that was about a $400,000 savings by simply just narrowing in the engineering for the project. We then put it out to bid publicly with Aspen's office and got 15 bids. So there was a lot of interest in the project. The bids were all fairly close and competitive, and the lowest bidder came in at $298,795 and some change, which is approximately $500,000 less than what we originally estimated the project to cost. That low bidder was fair, and it was Kilgore, and that's who we are recommending that we award the contract to.
Any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none. Thank you for doing your due diligence on that and having your team go through that and working with Aspen and getting a competitive bid out.
Well, can I ask a
15,
question just
15, that's a good number.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Chair recognizes Councilman Hoffman.
Why did the bids come in so much lower than what we budgeted? Any idea? That's a
So
37%.
there was, like, some of the bids were around that engineer's estimate of 393. They all pretty much ranged between the 295 to 393 range. So I think what it is and what my understanding is what was going on with it, because it was a very high number of people interested in this size of a project, is that there just isn't a lot of work out there right now. So there's a lot of contractors trying to fill their time and keep their employees busy. And the timing of getting it out a little earlier before people had all their year filled up helped out as well.
Okay.
So,
No, thanks.
When's the timeline? When do you anticipate start?
so after it gets approved tonight, I'll do the notice to proceed and then set up a pre-construction meeting within 10 days, 10 to 14 days. And then we'll start the project probably sometime around the first 2 weeks of April.
I hope we're gonna use that good Tooele County aggregate to make that asphalt.
Absolutely.
Where's that at?
I would really like for Tooele County to open up an asphalt plant, but I might be the only one that would like that.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for Jed?
No, I'll make a motion to approve this.
Hearing a motion from Councilman Hoffman, is there a second? Second. Hearing a second from Councilman Thomas, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those may oppose say nay. That is approved.
Chairman? I would
Chair
like to-
recognizes Councilman Hoffman.
I'd like to make a motion that we table agenda item 8B.
Hearing a motion to table item 8B from Councilman Hoffman, is there a second? Second. Hearing a second, all those in favor, tabling item 8B, say aye. Aye. All those may oppose say nay.
We'll just bring that back at the next meeting.
Right.
Yeah, bring that back
We
next
need
meeting.
more council members.
Thank
here.
you, Jed, appreciate it. That will bring up 8C, agreement between AMP, Probation, Tooele County. See, Alan, please.
Good evening. So in November, we accepted a grant money to, and I'm down in Littlefield, I'm the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council Director. And we applied for a grant for money to start a pretrial services program, received that grant money, put out a bid, and recently closed that bid and want to accept AMP and award them a contract to run a pretrial services program. We've interviewed Ashton Perry, who's the owner of AMP, and I think he'll do a great job. He actually runs pretrial services programs for other counties and cities in the state, and so he has a program already laid out and organized. So I think it'll prove to be very beneficial. We thought at a very minimum, just reminding people of their court dates and staying in touch with them from the time that they're released from jail until the time of their next hearing would solve a lot of problems with having people not show up to their hearings, having warrants issued, and then having them spend time in jail where we would otherwise, bear the costs of that. So something as simple as that, I think, will go a long way. This is all grant funded. And I believe we've put it in our budget because we'll withdraw from our budget first, and then each quarter we submit our expenses and the grant funding reimburses us. So the first fiscal year ends at the end of September this year, and then we have grant funding again for an additional year. After that, we'll determine whether we will get more grant funding from the state or whether we believe the program is effective enough that we might want to fund that ourselves if we're not receiving grant funding.
Okay, any other questions, council?
We
Would you turn that on?
I get to be on the committee that you spearhead and you put together. I get to be the chairman of that. But Dallin, you do a great job, and Scott's office is very, very supportive to you. And so, Scott, thank you, and Dallin for your leadership on that committee. So thank you. And I make a motion.
I think there's a comment still. You have a comment?
Yeah, just
Oh,
quickly.
sorry, okay.
Yeah.
I don't, this kind of stuff just kind of bothers me that we have to do it at all. It's the kind of stuff that I wish we could charge to those that need it, that it's not grant funded, but that's just an observation I guess I have.
Well, you're not far off.
Okay,
That's
can we
where- that's-
charge?
We were just talking about that. By the way, there was only one bidder, so I made it really easy. But AMP has similar programs where they provide to other counties, as well as they provide supervision in Judge Dow's court already for probation supervision. So they're already tied to the community anyway. We had the discussion when we were interviewing, was it Ashton?
Ashton,
Perry?
yeah.
Ashton Perry. He brought up that up. It's like, well, can we charge some fees for
Right,
our work?
especially if they
And
miss,
so
if they miss court or something, can we send them?
Well, we can charge them a supervision fee while they're on pretrial services. So that's one of the things we will be trying to come up with, a fee schedule, how it relates to how indigent they actually are. They usually have a sliding scale. Like, for example, if you're on APP probation, I think you pay, it used to be 30, is it 50 now?
50.
Well, a
yeah.
lot of
pay
these people
$50
could be
a
like
month.
getting blood out of turnip either way, but.
Received the grant, had the discussion because we knew it was grant.
We're gonna talk about in setting up the program, they're gonna talk about whether some of this can be funded by the people we're actually.
Maybe we wanted to test it out first, and so we had that discussion early on, and so contracting is the best method for now, and then we'll see where we're at after a couple of years, and so we actually thought through that as well, just should this be a department or should we just?
There's also been discussion, and you can join in too, about the state, because we've talked about ongoing funding. Hopefully it'll be successful statewide, that they'll want to pick it up.
So we're working on the goals are to make it self-sustainable, so it's not just constantly grant funded or county funded. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Chair to entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Hearing a motion from Councilman Hoffman, second from Councilman Thomas. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those may oppose say nay.
Just for the PMRE, the price of oil and asphalt can be somewhat of a moving target, so we like to put that out to bid.
It's dropping right now.
Well, we like to at
Coming
least
down
secure the cost.
Motion,
So moved.
Second.
hearing a motion from Councilman Thomas, second from Councilman Hoffman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those that may oppose say nay. Sounds unanimous. That will bring us down to, thank you, Jed. Line item transfer, human, services, excuse me.
All right, council, this first one that I have for you is just moving funds in the human services account from one line to another, but based on the amount, we do bring it before you. Just loaded it into the wrong line during the budget, so,
Oh, wonderful. That's easy fix, right?
yeah.
Any questions? If not, Chair to entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Hearing a motion from Councilman Hoffman, second from Councilman Thomas. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those may oppose say nay. That sounds unanimous. Thank you. That will bring us to Resolution 2025-06, amending increasing the 2025 budget. Alison.
All right, council, this one is for the sheriff's office. They have a Homeland Security grant. They didn't spend the money in 2024, so we're just rolling that grant forward into 2025. So that's what that budget adjustment is for. Any questions on that one?
No.
Have a public hearing.
Yeah, we do. What is that fund for?
It's their Homeland Security grant, so they get those funds each year, so.
Wonderful. So we need to have a public hearing
do.
first, so Chair to entertain a motion to open up public hearing.
So moved.
Hearing a motion from Councilman Thomas, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Hearing a second from Councilman Hoffman. All those in favor, open up public hearing on Resolution 2025-06, say aye. Aye. All those may oppose, say nay. Public hearing is now open. Anyone in the audience by a raise of hand that would like to speak specifically to Resolution 2025-06, amending and increasing the 2025 budget.
I'll make a motion to close public hearings.
Hearing a motion from Councilman Hoffman, is there a second?
Second.
Hearing a second from Councilman Thomas. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those may oppose, say nay. Public hearing is now closed. Chair to entertain a motion on Resolution 2025-06.
Make a motion to approve 2025-06.
Hearing a motion from Councilman Thomas, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Hearing a second from Councilman Hoffman. All those in favor of Resolution 2025-06, say aye.
Aye.
All those may oppose, say nay. That passes. Let's bring us down to boards and committees. Let me just go through with the audit committee. There, we have 5 vacancies. If you would like to serve on the audit committee, we have an application through the clerk's office to fill out. The Board of Health has 1 vacancy. Historical Preservation has 2 vacancies. Housing Authority has 1. And there are specifically, some of these boards will ask for a specific principle in that from somebody, and this one's asking for an attorney. Lake Point Cemetery is asking for 1 vacancy. Planning Commission has 1 vacancy for an alternate. Recreational Special Service District has 1. Rush Valley Water District has 1. And the Tourism Tax Advisory Board has 2 vacancies. Oh, I'm sorry, and Trails Committee has 1 vacancy. If you know of anyone or you'd like to refer anyone, again, refer them to the website, or they can certainly call Tracy's office, and she can direct them in the right direction. With that, we have some council updates. Councilman Hoffman, any council updates?
Just one update I want to give is that we're starting the county cleanup that begins this week and ends in about a month. So sign up to clean up roads and trails if you can, and get other groups and other people and family members involved with that, so we can take pride in our county and get it cleaned up, looking nice. That's all I want to mention.
Thank you. Councilman Thomas.
I'll pass.
Passes. I have a lot, but I'm gonna narrow it down. there's a plethora of things to talk about. One, had an opportunity to talk with economic development, some of the things that they're doing. The number one state in the union right now for economic development is South Carolina. I don't know if that surprises anyone, but they're ranked number one, and they had the largest growth of population for 1 year, because there's a lot of people moving there for work. One of the things that they have attracted is Boeing, a large operation from Boeing, BMW, Volvo, and when I say large operation, just Volvo alone employs 17,000 people. So these are big operations. One of the things that attracted them, and I'll tell you, there's a governor, Nikki Haley, when she was governor of South Carolina, they had purchased property. The state purchased 6,800 acres, and they designated that as a business complex only to complement the larger businesses that were coming. So when you have an operation like Boeing, or let's just take the car manufacturing, Volvo, they have a lot of other businesses that they have to work with for metals, for tuning up their robotic arms. They had 65 robots in there that were operating at SAW. And this complex complements that, and that was very favorable to these large manufacturing companies, and something that we could consider in the state of Utah to look at. The other thing was the port. They have something we don't have, an ocean right next to them. So there's no way we can compete against that other than when they were looking at it, rail. We have an opportunity, a lot of land here in Tooele County, and you can bring in a lot of carts from the port. If you didn't know this, that the port of entry there in California, there in South Carolina, other ones, they are cram-packed with materials that are coming in and product. And as fast as they can unload it, they have to sort it, they have to go through customs, they have to go through inspections, then audits before any of that leaves. And so they were asked, if when a ship arrives, what does it take unloading that and the product actually getting on a truck and leaving? And they said up to 3 weeks or longer if it's more complicated things. And so they have to go through, if there's anything that has dry ice on it or things of that are unstable, they have to then go through the testing and quality assurance and things like that. And so another one that they put out was, hey, if we have somewhere where there's a lot of property that can ship that in and then employ a lot of people to go through customs and inspections. That was kind of neat. The other thing is, right now, we were able to talk with the Director of Energy, the Secretary of Energy for the United States, and things that they're looking at as bipartisan. I know that almost sounds like a bad word, but on this subject, there is a lot of bipartisan on nuclear power. It's a lot cleaner, it's a lot safer than it has been since 1950s or 60s. They have small power plants that produce quite a bit of power. They talk about geothermal drilling, and when it gets down there and what that produces, they're in favor of that, and they're in favor of this nuclear power. And so they're looking at sites because there are some waste that comes after years. Where would that be deposited? How far would that travel? Because as you well know, with the treaties, we can't move that by truck or rail. So they have to deposit that pretty close to where that power plant may be. And so they were looking at that. The other thing we looked at is, if you didn't know, and I know the recorder's office knows this, but Tooele County, 88.6% of Tooele County is owned by the federal government. And we looked at and identified some properties that we'd like to talk with if the BLM, the federal government, would like to help us to neutralize the affordable housing. We're looking into that, and we have a lot of delegation that is in favor of that. We just have to go through the process, and literally, it takes an act of Congress to go through those things. But you have to go first through the under branches, which is the Secretary of Energy and Land. swap. So, there's a lot of moving parts on that. It's, fun to see that and to see how that progresses. With that, I'll turn some time over to the county manager.
Nothing else from me today.
No. Okay, wonderful. With that, Chair to entertain a motion to adjourn and go into a closed session.
I'll make a motion to adjourn and go into a closed session.
Hearing a motion from Councilman Hoffman, is there a second?
Second.
Hearing a second from Councilman Thomas, take a roll call vote. Councilman Thomas, how do you vote?
Adjourn.
In favor of it, I'm assuming. Councilman Hamner,
Present, like what Obama does?
Councilman Hamner votes favorable. Councilman
All vote
Hoffman.
present.
Councilman Hoffman, how do you vote?